If you've been following my Instagram, Rust to Resurrection, then you would know that I bought this model of a 1970 and a half Chevy Camaro. Building models is not something I'm necessarily prone to doing, but in this case, I was at Hobby Lobby with my wife, and I was walking through the aisles, unsupervised. I saw this and I had to have it. Anyway, 70 and a half Camaro has some meaning to me because my brother, who passed away in 2012, owned a Chevy Camaro. And I now proudly own that car as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So I want to talk a little bit about the model. I want to talk a little bit about my past with models, which is not stellar. And I also want to talk some about the Camaro itself, the real life Camaro. Tell you a little bit of that story as well. This is a 1/25th scale model and pretty common. I've said I don't build a lot of models. In fact, here's one 1966 Ford Mustang. I actually owned a 66 Ford Mustang convertible back in the early 70s, and I've had this model probably 30 years, and I started to build it, and you can see that I haven't gotten very far with it. But it was a fun experiment because I learned how to paint a model and how to get the paint to flow out so that it looks somewhat like a real paint job, orange peel and all. So I had figured that out a while back, and I got the model this far. Needs finishing. And I suppose if this model gets any traction on the channel, I'm not going to do a lot of model building on the channel, but this one ought to be fun. And if the model gets any traction, if the videos get any traction, I might take this out of storage and start finishing that one up. Probably the last model that I built, which was seems like 100 years ago now, is this CJ5. And the reason I built these models mostly for inspiration because I keep getting involved in these restorations. And I'm probably equally as bad at finishing my restorations as I am in finishing my models. But I built this probably, I don't know, again, 15, 18, maybe 20 years ago. I did finish this one. This is a 66 CJ5 because I own a 66 CJ5, and I've been working on a restoration for that. And this again was supposed to be my inspiration. The Jeep was actually this blue color when I bought it. So that model sits on my shelf and is my inspiration. This one I didn't build, I bought this. This is a cast model. It's a Willys MB. So that goes on the shelf as well. So it is the model that I use, again, as inspiration as I work on my Jeeps. So I'm going to open this up, sort of do an opening, and as I'm doing that, I want to tell you a little bit about the story of the Camaro. So my brother passed away tragically in 2012, and I inherited the Camaro. And unfortunately, I didn't have a place to store it, so it was being stored outdoors under a tarp. And I had it up, jacked up, so I mean it wasn't like you could get a lot of rot happening underneath, though that was always a concern of mine. I had it tarped up pretty well, had a couple tarps over it. I know leaving cars under tarps outdoors is not the thing that you want to be doing. But I did because I had no choice, because I had no place to store the car. And I would untarp it 2 or 3 times during the summer, start it up, run it around, make sure that everything was functioning the way that it should function. What I ended up doing was offering the car to a really good friend of mine, Jeff Ford, who owns or runs Automotive, because I didn't have a place to store it. I called Jeff and I said, hey, I said, would you like to have this car for a while, featuring it on your channel, doing restoration work on it? I mean, Jeff has this YouTube channel. He has this little restoration shop that he runs, and so we agreed that he would take the car. So I packed it up on a trailer, and for the next 2 days, my wife and I drove it from New Hampshire to South Carolina, where Jeff is. It was mostly uneventful. It was a nice ride. It was a nice couple days. Lots and lots of comments from folks in every rest stop. I literally had people running over to check the car out, which was kind of cool, and it was really nice that the old car, the old Camaro, actually caused that much interest in people on the highway. This is all interstate all the way down. We did have to stay overnight one night. We drove about 17 hours. That was about all I could take hauling that car on that trailer. We went down through Pennsylvania, up over the mountain, down through North Carolina, up over the mountain. The truck did all right. The pickup did okay, but there was a lot of uphill, a lot of downhill, and we did a lot of shifting on that journey. Here's all the chrome parts, all the chrome bumper and bumperettes. That's kind of cool. It's all chromed. I don't have to paint these chrome, which will be a nice change. And the windshield and the rear window, that rear window I think is what really defines the early second gen Camaro. In 73 or 74, they wrapped that window around the sail panels. I never liked them as well after that. I do love the second gen Camaro though. Also got the clear lenses for the front of this. Real rubber tires. How can you go wrong, right? You know what I mean? Now, here's where things may or may not turn out so well. So they don't build them like they used to, I guess. Now, this one here, my yellow Mustang, the entire undercarriage is separate from the body itself. So the two have got to be assembled, which I really prefer if I'm going to build a model. This one, the undercarriage or the unibody floor pan is all attached to the model. That's not going to be as much fun. I do not like that orange. I mean, they're supposed to be, I think, simulating the orange on the cover. I'm not sure that I like that. My Camaro originally was yellow with a vinyl roof. And Jeff and I have talked about this, and we've debated about whether or not we're going to paint the car yellow. It's a yellow. It's not like this one. So we've debated whether or not we want to paint the car yellow. I definitely am not going to put the vinyl roof back on it, because even though that's the way the build sheet says, I'm not sure a vinyl roof going back on is what I want to do. This is a Z28 model. My car is a Z28 clone. It is not a real Z28, even though the 350 Chevy in that engine bay is or was pretty healthy. Jeff is working on, we're going to put a new engine in that car as well, 383. We're going to put a 383 in it. This, I'm not sure I like this orange, so that may get repainted to the yellow that was my car originally. 100 parts, they say, 100 parts, and all of them have got to be cut away, like all these models do. all the undercarriage, all the undercarriage is orange. They should be black, which I know you know. The seats are orange. They're supposed to be black. The wheels, that's disappointing. The wheels are not chrome. The wheels are orange. So if I do this, or when I do this, I'm going to have to figure out how to paint all the details in those little tiny wheels. Oh, my Lord. So we drove the car down through Pennsylvania back when we brought it down. The car's been down there 5 years-ish, 6 years-ish. Just before COVID, we brought it down. And I'm going to tell you that the highways and bridges down through Pennsylvania at that time were some of the worst that could be. And there were more than one occasion that when we went over the expansion joints, I thought that damn trailer and car was going to come unhitched from the truck. It never did. But we were down there here 3 weeks ago. We went down to Virginia to a wedding and stopped in Hershey. Hershey is one of our favorite places to be for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons, of course, is the car culture. So we were down in Hershey, and if you're actually following this channel, then you'll see the little shorts that I'm putting up from the AACA library and the AACA museum. A lot of beautiful cars in those museums. There was one 1970 Chevy Camaro in the AACA library. That was stunning. That was a beautiful car. So anyway, we went down, and that was 2 weeks ago. And I'm really thinking that using the COVID dollars that the government passed out, Pennsylvania fixed all their highways. Matter of fact, from the time we left New Hampshire till the time we got to Virginia, the roads were immaculate. So I think a lot of states got that money, and a lot of states spent it on the highways, because all the way down there was not any difficulty with rough roads or potholes. It was really very, very well done. In fact, in early June, we went down to South Carolina to actually visit with Jeff and look at the car. It was Jeff's birthday, so we went down to celebrate his birthday and look the car over and talk about it a little bit. From there, we headed over to Dollywood. Why not? It's Dollywood. And the highways were all in a really, really good shape. So that was, both trips were actually pretty nice. So anyway, we're going to build this model, and we're going to build it here on the channel. Again, this is not what I do on the channel. I restore lots of things. I restore 3 Jeeps actually. I've got a 1975 Pontiac that I've owned it since it was new, and I want to get it back on the road. It's been in cold storage for over 25 years. Same thing. I start it up once or twice a year, drive it around the yard, make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to be. But we want to get that back on the road coming up this summer, I'm hoping, maybe. So if you like to see all things automotive, please stick around to the channel, because there's a lot more coming. And the model's just sort of like an interlude between all those things. With winter coming along, it's going to be kind of difficult up here in New Hampshire for me to do much work on the cars. But we're going to continue to do that, and one of those projects is going to be working on these models just for some content. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is a new channel. We are trying to grow it. It is an offshoot from my other channel, 6 Round Studio, where I do restorations on firearms, and I build the occasional guitar over there. So 6 Round Studio, if you're interested in firearms and firearm restoration. Restoration's what I do. And make a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff. Do you build models? Do you care about models? Again, like I said, I don't do it. It's mostly inspiration for me, and I think I need some inspiration right now. I appreciate you guys being here. I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.